principles, just
Yeah.
so I could put a few men at ease.
Yeah. I will always remember, I know we were talking before the break, 2 + 2 is 4. I'm going to use that. So I don't know, we don't have time to go into that, but I will remember that because it keeps you, rooted and grounded on, so I think that's powerful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So where did that fire and passion come from with you being so vocal about your beliefs and political beliefs and different and so forth? Where did that passion come from? Because you have to be a burning in you to be so vocal. So where did that come from?
It's really interesting. I never knew I was vocal. There's always right and wrong, and I guess it comes from the community that I came from. AP Turo fighting for access to green space. My mother, my father not accepting. I'll never forget my father going to Capitol Junior High School. And one of the most brave stories in my family, my oldest brother, who's deceased now, integrated public schools here in New Orleans. He was the Ruby Bridges generation.
Wow.
And he integrated Capitol
Wow.
Junior High.
Okay.
And he went there, and of course he was being attacked every day, calling the N-word every day, and all. He would come home crying. And so my father took him back to school to the principal's office, a white gentleman, principal, and he said, listen, my son is being accosted every day. And the guy was right on it. He was like, listen, we want this to be a success. We want integration to happen. It's going to work and all. So he said, he told my brother, Stacy, if anything happens, you let me know, and I will take care of it.
Okay.
And so my father then turned to my brother and said, now, Stacy, you heard your principal. He said, if anything happens, you come and tell him, and he will take care of it. And then my father turned to the man and said, now, if he comes and tells you, and you don't take care of it, I'm going to come and see you and take care of it. And, is that a threat? Yes, it is. And it was, for my father, 1960s, in the height of that racial tension, to say that to the principal is one of the bravest things that I heard. And so I guess that's where I get it from, too.
Yes.
Also, it's a part of a rich tradition. It's a part of actors who have the platform. I think of Harry Belafonte. I think of one of my great heroes that I got to work with and loved him as a man and a person, and that's Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee and Paul Robeson and all of those. And each generation, they picked up the mantle. At the same time, they proved to you that you could have a career, that the two can coexist, that you can be a man or woman who speaks the truth, and at the same time still have a career.
Wow.
So don't let people tell you that it can't be done.
Wonderful.
Where do you think the nation is headed now with the new administration coming in on January 20th?
I think I think it's an amazing time. It's a very visceral time. Donald Trump actually did a great service by letting you know that American democracy is fragile. There was a lot of people that just thought our institutions, the way it works, the way everything operates, it's just always going to be here.
Yes.
And it doesn't require participation. It doesn't require forcing the government to live up to its ideals. Self-governance is a novel idea. People were governed by monarchies and by the church, and by people who were deemed to have higher esteem and better knowledge and better humanity than you. So I know what's best for you. You bleed red, I bleed blue. That's where the term blue blood comes from. We are royalty.
Wow.
America says no, there's an equality, and that man can govern themselves. But what America did was create a mythology. They said every man and woman are equal. This is out of many one. Truth and justice and the American way, and you can become anything you want here. And all of those mantras that we live by, we created systems that are the complete opposite. Every man wasn't created equal. They had loopholes everywhere, you know. Black men and women are 3/5 of a man. My father was born in 1925. He's still alive. I'm going to go and see him after this.
Wow, that's
It was only a couple of years before that women could vote,
Right.
right? 1920. So, I mean, we're talking about 200 years of a nation before half of the people could even vote.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's go back even further. If you didn't own land,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could not vote.
Right.
Wow.
You couldn't participate in it. And the propagation of that, of class and race tied together, made a few very rich off of the idea of equality by creating inequality.
Wow.
And so we look at it as something that is in the history books. Oh, yes. No, back then, yes. And Donald Trump made us realize fascism is right around the corner. Like that. Where I can say, tell the army, see those people exercising their First Amendment rights of protest? That people have died all over this world to believe in the Constitution? I want you as the military to go and stop them because I want to take a picture in front of that church.
Oh, wow.
That act in itself destroyed the constitutional right of the first constitutional right. Right? That's the first one. It's not the second,
Right,
the
the
first.
Yes.
Freedom of the press is the second. We can complain. I got complaints about the press. But also, that's the first thing in an authoritarian handbook is destroy confidence in the press. So when I lie to you and they say, wait, that's a lie, you won't believe them.
Oh.
That was by design, right? The fact that the press was destroyed, the fact that the institution was destroyed, and what he's doing now by destroying the faith in the electoral process, it's going to be generation for us to bring it back.
Yes.
It's all based on lies. It's going to
Yes.
be a generation, and he is instigating and inciting violence. And all of it is a reaction to the fact that the people that put this together created this mythology that is about equality, but the systems weren't made equal.
No.
And so now, those who have fought against the inequality and saying, we're going to make you live up to the true values of that document,
Yes.
that's where the fire is. Because there are a lot of people who realize, my power is now going to be taken away because it actually might become true. Because the power lies in the hands of just a few. I tell people all the time, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist, right? I tell the Democratic Party, you should say that all the time, and you're going to get a whole bunch of people from the left say, don't say that, capitalism is awful. I said, but no, the people that tell you the mythology of capitalism, capitalism is about everybody get educated. Everybody has ideas. The better ideas, the more ideas, the better ideas.
Yes.
The better ideas, the tide rises.
Yes.
Cream rises to the top, then that benefits everyone. The capitalists now have told you capitalism is, no, only my kids get educated. Only, and then as that grows, as you build capitalism, it then creates growth, right? So it's a bigger pie.
Yes.
Yes,
True.
it is.
People who have hijacked the idea of capitalism now and calls me a socialist for saying that. That's why I tell you, when people call me a socialist, I say, no, I'm a capitalist. The very thing is a bad word now, capitalism, right? No. They've made it a bad word because only my kids get to go to school. We will only build an economy that is not about growth,
No. Just
that is about, I'm going to get as
one-sided.
much of this pie as I can,
yes.
and we're going to play Mr. Potato Head. Remember Mr. Potato Head?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you keep tossing, I
Yeah.
get you to buy this Apple futures, junk bonds, all of that. I'm going to get you to buy paper that has nothing of value,
Yeah.
that it comes due in July, and you get people to buy this piece of paper from you that's not manufactured, that doesn't leave anything, it's called a future or whatever, right? And by the time it gets to your hands, and it's July, I've made $5 off of it from Sally Ann. She says, all right, I'll sell you. I bought it for $5. I'll sell it to you for $6. You go, oh, yeah, $6.
Yeah.
Oh, this month, I'll buy it for $7. I sold it to you for $8. We've all made money. Then July comes.
Gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
That future is gone. But we could have put it in something where it was growth, manufacturing, all of that. As much as Donald Trump railed against, oh, you're sending, we're going to fight China and all of that, everything he produces is in China. Because they cut the deal, we're going to cut your taxes if you put everything. If you make it in the country, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. But we're going to make it where if you take it outside the country, you don't. And you politicize that and tell, and I tell people, you add classes, and that's classism. Make poor people poorer, especially in New Orleans. You keep an underclass. There's so many people that get rich by keeping an underclass, right? You get richer. Then you tie race into it. So now you have people, you know the biggest group that's being tricked right now? Poor white folks.
Oh, wow.
Poor white folks. The GOP, the right wing, does not think about black folks. They don't think about people of color. They're indifferent, which is even worse than hating if you're indifferent to it. They focus on one thing, and it's always been that way in this country. Poor white folks. It's the largest group of voting bloc. And if we convince you the reason that you're poor is not because of me, it's because of them.
Yeah.
I told a kid this, he came back from the Iraq war, and he's like, man, I'm a big fan of yours, but I don't like your politics. I said, that's good. I said, you don't have to like my politics. I said, but just remember this. I said, I appreciate it. You didn't even bring up race. And I said, if I was in your position, I would believe everything, man. Boy, black people taking my jobs, black people just getting handouts, and black people taking my positions in school. It's like, well, I don't want to say it, but that's right. And I said, yeah, I would believe it too. If I didn't know the truth. Here's 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
Black folks, if we took every job, man, woman, and child in my community, we're only 12%. If each one of us took a job from you, only 12, so how come 88% of you are still hurting?
Right.
Wow.
We can't be taking all your jobs.
possibly,
If each one of us, now here's the fact that we're not. We have 50% unemployment. So
exactly.
we don't even have a job, right?
Right.
So schools, if every one of them is the same one, if we took your spot in school, there's thousands of spots in universities. We're only 12%. So they're convincing you that your position is, because if you vote for me,
Right.
the only reason you're poor is because of them. And I got the carrot on the stick.
Wow.
You might become a member of the rich white guy club if you vote for me. That's right. I'm gonna vote for
I
you.
think I'm gonna do that.
And then I told him, I said, here's the thing you have to understand. To keep that guy rich, you're fighting in Iraq, and I appreciate your service. But in the first time in the American history, your benefits were cut in the middle of war to pay for tax cuts for the rich.
Oh, wow.
I'm on a television show. I make 10 times more than you, probably more than that. I know I'm gonna pay less taxes than you. Oh, no, that's not true. I said, I'm not gonna pay any
That's a
taxes this year
sadness.
Right.
because of the tax cuts that your benefits, your GI Bill that was cut, will pay for me.
Right.
And they tell you that my people are the reason for your cuts.
Oh, wow.
That my people are the reason that you don't have any money. When that's been going on all the way back, know your history. That's
Know
what
your
slavery
history.
was all about.
Wow.
Right.
That
Wow.
poor white farmers were then mad at black slaves because you're giving the gentry free labor. And they're making all the money. And now they have land and they're making me a sharecropper. Then blacks became free, then we were pushed to be sharecroppers and we have more in common. Then what happened? Because you've been told all of your life that I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Thibodeau, 1897, sugarcane strike. What happened? The gentry brought in black labor again that they had kicked out. And they used race to incite one of the greatest violent massacres in Louisiana. And they went through Thibodaux, Louisiana, and killed almost 300 folks, on par with Tulsa, right?
Wow.
But not 300 folks. They wounded 300 folks. They killed about 36 people.
Wow.
But that act is on par with Black Wall Street that happened in Tulsa that we're just learning about. I bet you if you canvass anybody in this room, most people don't even know about the massacre, the race massacre in Thibodaux. All based on the haves convincing the have-nots that it's racial, and then manipulating them to keep an underclass so they can stay rich.
I'm waiting for your book to come out.
Yes.
Last thing we talk about very briefly is WBOK.
Yes.
This historic station, and you're in the midst of change.
Yes, WBOK is 70 years old. It was the only African-American owned radio station in Louisiana. Imagine 70 years ago, someone saying there's a fish fry over at, Bethany Church on Friday. And Reverend King is going to be in town marching with Tom Dent from Dillard to try to change something about that law uptown. Having that access to that platform is historic, especially in our community. And when I heard that the station was for sale, I wanted to make sure that that legacy continued on. I joined with 3 partners, Troy Henry, Jeffrey Thomas, and Cleveland Spears, 4 black men born and raised here
I know
in New
Mr.
Orleans.
Troy Henry.
And to keep it going. And so, very proud of that. We're changing it, and now we're growing it because we want that connection to all generations, the next generation, have it be a teaching tool. So we're moving it to Xavier.
Oh, wow.
And so this was our first year, a very difficult year in the midst of a pandemic. But now we hope to begin next year. We'll be moving it to Xavier, and then the communications students there and the business students there will have this radio station that they can learn from and apply their knowledge to, because they will have the airwaves in the evenings. So.
Wonderful.
That is
Awesome. And we have a surprise for you. Yes, we do. Because we heard, of course, it was all on Facebook, that you had a birthday on December 8th.
December 8th.
And
yes.
we just want to say happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
Yes. Oh, I cannot believe I got Sally Ann's birthday song. Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, my goodness.
By Creativity Gourmet Artistry and Event Designs.
Wonderful.
Beautiful,
Beautiful
beautiful,
cake.
beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
Beautiful.
First
Oh,
of
my
all,
goodness.
no. Put that right there to make sure the camera sees it. Right
Yeah.
there. And I see that.
Okay, can we see it?
Can we see it? Can
Yeah,
you see
Sally.
it? Oh, we need to bring it to the camera. Oh, we can see it there.
Yeah.
Actually, walk it up to the camera, ma'am, if you don't mind. And here's the other thing. It's about acknowledging creativity. So, ma'am, if you would step up with your daughter, too. Yes. And right there, stop right there and lift it chest high. You stand on either side of the
There
cake.
you go.
There you go. So people can see you. Yes.
Creativity Gourmet Artistry and Event Design.
There.
And you can reach them at 504-699.
699.
699, I see on the back of the shirt. 2752.
Yes.
Beautiful cake
Beautiful.
with the strawberries and everything, and it's for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I know I speak for a lot of
Thank
people.
you very much.
When
Creative
we say-
design.
Yes, when we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for remembering your roots,
Yes.
coming back to New Orleans
Absolutely.
and being a part of our community.
Yes.
And you're going to go see your dad now, 95 years young.
95 years young. His birthday is January 26th. He fought in World War II. In
Oh, wow.
Saipan. He was drafted. He was living in the Callio projects and walked downtown and got drafted and went off to fight in the war in Saipan. and made it back. And his unit was given medals and commendations. He wasn't believed when he came back and said, "I think we got some awards," and the officer said, "No, you didn't." And my mother came to me and said, "Well, you know, your father got these awards and he never accepted them because, you know, they didn't believe him. His papers were behind him when he was checking out, and the officer wouldn't believe that he would get these awards and that his unit got these awards, a black unit. And so he never got them, Wendell." And I said, "Okay, well, bring me the paper." They got a letter from U.S. Army. And my mother brings me this piece of paper from 1945. Oh. I thought it was like just the other day. And with the help of World War II Museum, my father got his commendations.
Oh,
On
amazing.
Veterans Day at the museum.
Wonderful.
So it just shows you the best thing about America is the fact that we can overcome the worst parts of what we are. It's the same thing with New Orleans. We can overcome the worst parts of what we are and celebrate the best and evolve to the best. And that's why WBOK is going to be better and is going to be a part of this media with this online radio station.
Let's Live Radio.
Yeah, Let's
We
Live
would
Radio.
love-
Radio.
We would love to have a relationship with your station,
Yes.
WBOK, because you're part of the fabric of New Orleans.
Yes.
You will always be part of the fabric of New Orleans. And I want to say to Mr. Pierce, thank you for your service to
Yes.
this community and to our nation. You are
Yes.
truly a hero.
Yes.
And on that note, we say thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I'll give you a
So
hug,
much.
but-
Thank
It's an honor to
but
be
the
here.
pandemic prevents
Stay
that.
safe, everyone. Stay
Okay.
safe.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us on Let's Live Radio, and we hope that you'll stay with us. Let'sLiveRadio.com. Download the free app. We have 24/7 gospel music and inspirational programming for you, and tell your friends. And we thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day, night, or wherever you are right now in the world.